This YouTube channel is not monetized. It never has been, and it never will be. It's about sharing information for the model railroading community. However, if you'd like to donate to the River Mountain Model Railroad, just go ahead and scan the QR code and it'll link you to my PayPal account where you can make a donation. Hello, it's June 2025. Let's see what's been going on the River Mountain Model Railroad. I'm Terry, and I'll be your host. So let's start with what's on the workbench. One of the projects on the workbench is 9807. This is one of my first DCC with sound installs, and it's always run great. Never had any issues with it up until a couple of weeks ago. And for some reason it started to develop some electrical contact issues. So in the process of troubleshooting, which I found a broken wire, and cleaning, I noticed that the drive axle gears were broken and fractured. So mine as well, since I have it apart, do some weathering. You can see the trucks and the air tanks are off. I've painted the wheel faces on the wheels. We're in the process of upgrading and replacing the drive axle gears. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks you'll see some videos on the weathering process for 9807. Another project on the workbench are some used ties. I made these a couple of weeks ago from some square toothpicks. I just dunked them in some stain, a couple of different coats of grays and light browns, and then when I got done saturating them in stains, as you can see, I painted some rust spots on there where the tie plates would go on the ties. So here's another project, made up a bunch of used ties that we could use for details at various locations, either on a diorama or around the layout. But these are nothing more than square toothpicks that have been stained with grays and browns, and then I used an airbrush to paint the rust on there to simulate where the tie plates sat on the ties. So let's head over to the layout. The lower area of my layout is staging, and for the longest time the area on the right side was the only place that I had for staging locomotives and rolling stock. A couple of weeks ago I got some additional track and added some staging on the left side of the lower level, and definitely increased my space for a staging area so I could store some locomotives and some rolling stock. So let's take a look at the new staging area. Since this is staging, I use code 100 track. Didn't see the need to get code 83 track and install it down here, since we're just going to be staging trains on it. They're not going to be running on it all the time. This hopper right here is new. This is the scale trains, Trinity 5161 covered hopper. So they just released those a couple of months ago and came out with them. Here's another new addition to the layout. Scale Trains ES44 CSX Heritage in Conrail livery. This thing runs like a champ, pulls like a beast, and sounds awesome. So this is a new addition to the layout. A couple more new additions to the layout. That Penn Central 3127 is a Scale Trains GP40. It's funny when we pre-order this stuff, we don't expect the stuff to come in all at the same time, but unfortunately when the ship comes in, you get it all at once. The other new additions, those two hoppers in the background there, those are Class 1 Model Works ARI 5200s, so they're new to the layout. Another new addition to the layout is this Scale Trains AC 4400 in a Union Pacific livery. Continuing on with the Scale Trains AC 4400, I picked up some PTC antenna arrays from Mac Rail and have installed one on the locomotive there to upgrade it and modernize it, and you can see that that actually turned out pretty nice. So I like the look of that new PTC antenna array on that AC 4400. I think that turned out pretty good. Some high cube box cars have been added to the layout. The pink TTX on the right It's actually picked up at the St. Louis RPM last year. The pink breast cancer awareness is honor of my mother, who is a breast cancer survivor. The green COER high Q boxcar on the left, scale trains just released a couple of weeks ago, so that's relatively new on the market. Picked up a couple of 4750 covered hoppers. I don't know, I must have a weakness for 4750 covered hoppers, but the one on the right is from Tangent. That was just released a couple of months ago, and the one on the left I found on eBay. So I got a couple of 4750s that have been added to the rolling stock roster. A couple of more eBay finds. You know, it's funny how when you're not looking, these things show up. So not only do I have a soft spot for 4750s, I got a soft spot for patched out 4750s. So here you can see I picked up some Intermountain 4750 covered hoppers, patched out. One was PV and one was Rio Grande. So I've already got some prototype photos that we're going to try and weather these things. Well, that pretty much does it for this update. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had some fun, and I hope you learned something. And as always, thanks for watching.